does seem like a number of our public officials, and I think what's his name, Anthony Fauci.
Yeah.
What is his title? Do you remember?
I don't recall at the top of my head. Basically, he's the number two guy in the government at the CDC for addressing this type of.
Yeah, and he seems to want people to be afraid, and I think concern and responsible behavior and all of this is very much required at this time. But it seems like fear can lead to some fairly irrational outcomes in terms of policies, in terms of personal behavior. And I think we need to kind of stay calm and chill out and have a little bit of humility right now instead of everybody freaking out. But that doesn't seem to be, I don't hear a lot of reason coming from our public officials right now.
Right. Quite the opposite. It seems like, I called this in a conversation with a colleague the other day, basically a race to the bottom of all the different governors and mayors and county officials to see who can get the most extreme version of a policy into place. So it'll be Governor of New York announces that we're going to be shut through April 15th. And then the next state over, it says, no, we're going to do April 30th. And then yesterday we got Ralph Northam announced, well, I'm going to push it all the way to June 10th. So it's a succession of more and more extreme policies where they almost seem like they're trying to outdo each other.
Yeah. And you've written, I've been following you on Facebook, and you've written about sort of the perverse incentives for political actors and bureaucratic actors, some basic public choice analysis that argues that doing more is safer than doing what is appropriate, because then you can't get blamed because you didn't do enough. Right.
So it's the incentive is almost there to intentionally overstate the severity of any claim. And we see this in most natural crisis type situations. So I liken it to whenever there's a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico that's coming toward one of the major metropolitan areas around there, the impulse of policymakers is to always go for the more extreme solution. It's to say we need to lock down mass areas of the coast, mass evacuations that aren't always in sync with what the actual forecast of the hurricane happens to be doing. Yet county officials and city officials will tend to adopt this type of a policy because the alternative scenario, if they underprepare, if they underestimate what it's going to do, you get Hurricane Katrina 2.0. So no one wants to be in that situation as a public official. What they do want to do is be seen as acting, be seen as preempting some of the problems that could happen in a worst case scenario. Whether or not that's a realistic assessment is often set aside to rather the impulse to act.